Testing, testing. So we are all here. Let's take attendance and then make sure we have quorum and then we can get started. So Mariam Hosseini, absent. Tyler here, Mark Burgess.
Here.
Dale Raymond, also absent. Christine. Here. Bob Ham.
Here.
Alvin Baltazar. Andrea Miller.
Here.
Dylan Gonzalez and Adley.
Yeah, Dylan's absent.
Okay. And okay, well, great. Why don't we say the Pledge of Allegiance? And again, Alvin, can I ask you to do the honor of leading us, please?
Okay. All right.
Thank you.
Place your hand in the right heart. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you, Alvin. That was wonderful. And I will now switch into the Dell. So we're at public comment and
Board,
do we just
Yeah.
have the one?
just the one.
Okay.
Yeah,
Amy Burden. Am I pronouncing her last name correctly?
Amy Birch.
Birch,
Yes.
Birch. Okay, thank you.
Good evening, board. I'm back again. I just wanted to say I'm still a proud parent of a fourth grader here at OTA, and I'd like to start by sharing a small piece of our story. 5 years ago yesterday, I began treatment for stage 3 breast cancer. At that time, my daughter was just 4 years old. I don't share this for sympathy, but to remind us that every child comes to school with a unique story shaped by the experiences life has given them. What I've seen in this administration is a real commitment to the understanding each student as an individual and to helping them find their place in the classroom as themselves. For my daughter, OTA has been that place. She went from struggling every single day to truly thriving. She feels cared for, seen, and supported by her teachers and by the entire staff here. At the last board meeting, someone asked, what does it mean that so many board members are pulling their children from OTA? I understand that every family makes the best decision for their child, and I completely respect that. Sometimes the school isn't the right fit, and that's okay. But there are so many parents like me who believe this is exactly the right place for our children. We partner with staff, we communicate, and we work together to make things better where they can be. Because no school is ever perfect, but this one truly tries to meet kids and parents where they are. Recently, I made a few donations, not just to give back, but to show my confidence in the school and its leadership. I wanted to encourage others to do the same and to believe in our community and our shared ability to make OTA stronger. We have passionate, dedicated people in the foundation who are doing incredible work, often more than expected, and there's so much positive energy and creativity flowing right now. I'm genuinely excited to see how things continue to grow and improve this year. We are the community that makes this school what it is. If we lead with collaboration, positivity, and trust, I believe that we can make this year amazing for every OTA student. Thank you.
Thank you, Amy.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And next, board member comments, correspondence. Does anyone have anything? Any board members?
I do.
Okay,
Nobody else does.
thank you.
Oh, I would like to, I'm making a request to have, on the consent agenda, to pull, 3A and 3B out of the consent agenda to vote separately. And for, 3A to be split into a vote for, regarding each parent director.
Okay, I'm not sure that this is the proper discussion point for that, but I will note it anyway. That you're requesting to pull these out of the consent agenda. But normally, just following the normal order procedures, we would discuss that later, whereas board comments is usually for something else, but that's fine. Anyone else? Any of the board members have any board comments? Bob, you often have a time word.
I don't have anything.
Not yet. You don't have anything to say about lunch yesterday?
Oh, lunch was awesome.
I was talking about
that.
The eighth grade parents did an unbelievable job.
Oh, nice.
It's a good pattern for the rest of the grades to follow.
He was really on it yesterday, that's the reason I said that.
What did they serve? I just have to know.
It was a lot of hors d'oeuvres.
Like,
Oh, really?
like an appetizer thing, it was like a bunch of really great things.
Stuff, yeah, that's awesome.
That's great.
Oh, that sounds great. Okay, now we're at reports and presentation. And just remind, we're discussion and informational only. First, we'll start with the student report. Al.
Hi, good evening. So really the main thing I have is I know for as long as I've been here that parent teacher conferences have been towards the start of the year. And I think we have them next week. And a lot of kids and parents are saying that they would like either a second one later in the year or either just move it later in the year. Okay.
Well, we have discussed having a second one, right? But it is aligned with being after that first quarter, so that there's like feedback on how those first 9 weeks went, so that we're, better for the next 27 weeks. So I do think there's still discussion about having a second one, but I think it's more like if it's needed, like on a basis, instead of it being like an everybody thing, because I know that's pretty strenuous to have 3 half days to make that happen. So I do think that that's something in the works as we move forward in the year. So I appreciate you bringing that.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes, and I also want to thank you. That's good to hear that that's something also that the students are interested in, because I think that's an important feedback for all of us. And next, the financial report. Do we have Janita?
Janita?
Hi, everyone. Good evening. Yes, I'm going to be presenting the September financial report. So I will go ahead and share my screen here. All right. Can everyone see my screen okay?
Yes.
Yes.
All right, wonderful. So this evening I am presenting the monthly financial board report as of, August. So this report is at the end of August. It's compared against our last board approved budget, which took place at the adopted FY 25-26 budget. And this budget is based on student enrollment of 222 students with 210.90 ADA. Just as a side note for the financial impact of the budget and how it can be positively and negatively impacted, most revenues obviously coming from our LCFF, and that is funded through your ADA. And we won't know the final ADA number till April 2026. But one ADA is an average of about 15,000. So whether we increase or decrease, that will positively or negatively impact the final budget. So the year-to-date revenues through August 31st, 2025 are $512,022, which is over our current budget. And that is mainly due to the CEFT grants coming in, which we did not originally have on our original budget that was approved. As a side note for revenues as well, is that we have restricted revenues in the amount of around $1 million that we are tracking monthly at each close. And you'll see that later on in my presentation. As it goes for the year-to-date expenses through August 31st, they are currently at $418,303, which is 12.8% under what we currently had budgeted. And this is mainly due to the needs of the school. So some items that are currently coming in under budget are as follows. There's the personnel expenses as well as services and other operating expenses. And so that's mainly due to, it being slower time in July. So we didn't have too much expenses, but we do anticipate those expenses to eventually catch up with the budget as the year progresses. So therefore, we had net income at the end of August of $93,719. And one item that was asked of me at the last board meeting was to provide a more updated financial picture as to kind of where we currently are, because right now we're looking at the adopted budget, but in the background, Devin and I are working on a reforecasted budget constantly. So it's something that still we're working on, and we have been diligently working on, I want to say almost daily. So our reforecasted budget at this point in time, we're looking at a deficit of $86,077. But with the note of that is to please keep in mind that there are revenues currently included in that budget that we still need to account for. And if they cannot be accounted for, then we need to also remove them. And we're also still working on some of the expenses as well. So even though you see that number now, that reforecasted budget will be brought to the board in December, and that figure may change. Before I move on, I just want to ask if there's any questions on the financial summary page before I go into the other parts of the presentation.
Janita, just a clarification, when you say accounted for, you mean that we have incurred the correct expenses to take that revenue, right?
Yes, so currently the deficit that we're looking at of 86,000 on that reforecasted budget has some new funds that are on that budget. But I have to work with Devin to make sure that we have the qualifying expenses, because those revenues, we have multiple years to spend them. So if we're putting them all on this year's budget, we have to make sure that we have dollar for dollar expense in order to be able to earn dollar for dollar revenue.
Got it. Thank you.
Of course.
Just one, I think it might be a typo, but just wanted to clarify in the note in the third line. And it should be that we'll know the official ADA mid-late April 2026, right?
Correct, 2026. Yeah, that was a typo. I corrected it on the presentation that I'm showing this evening. Sorry about that.
Okay.
Oh, yeah, I see it up there. I was like, wait, what?
Yeah.
The one that I sent did say 2025, so I apologize.
Okay, glad you caught that. Thank you.
All right, so here we are looking at the financial snapshot. Kind of what I explained on the summary page is that our actual revenues are coming in higher, mainly due to the CEFT grant. And then our actual expenses are coming in a bit lower, mainly due to the personnel expense and our operating services coming in a bit lower for that month of July because the school was essentially closed. So here we are now looking at the actual to budget summary. So in the middle, you'll see the total budget. This is the total budget that the board had approved. That the board approved. It was the adopted budget, and that is a deficit of $348,710. So going over to the left, we have our actual and then our budget. This is the actual revenues, actual expenditures that have come in from July to August, and then what we had budgeted from July to August. So in that variance column, it's comparing the actual to budget. So same idea, we've got total revenues, as I mentioned, coming in favorably due to that CEFT grant in the amount of $330,000. And then our total expenses coming in favorably in the amount of $61,548 due to some of those expenses coming in under budget.
Okay, so the grant is coming in under local revenues then.
Correct. It is coming in under local revenue. Local revenue is where we account for anything that is outside of our federal and state funding. All right, so here we are now looking at the monthly cash balance over time. This monthly cash balance is based off of the adopted budget that the board last approved. And here we are looking at the balance sheet. So at the end of August, you will see that we have total assets in the amount of $905,733, total liabilities in the amount of $345,564, which then brings us to our total net assets in the amount of $560,170. And as I mentioned on that summary page, our $1 million that we are tracking in restricted funds. Restricted funds, you have to spend dollar for dollar. So in order for us to earn every single dollar of the revenue that you see here, we have to have $1 worth of expenses. So we are tracking that every single month to the end of the year, ensuring that we spend down all of the funds that you see here.
And I have a question, this is again on the local revenues. I was just thinking about what you're saying. Where does any fundraising and foundation monies and things like that come in?
Goes into the general account.
So the
So,
local,
yeah,
she's
but that's
asking
under
about
local
the local revenue.
Is that part of local revenue?
I'm sorry, would I be able to answer the question? Thank you. I believe that I'd be able to answer it best. So it is under local revenue.
Okay. So, and has that been updated?
So the
So,
foundations and grants, the foundations and grants has told me that our adopted budget had a $50,000 budget. And that as of recently, that they have had to cut down that budget to $29,000. So $29,000 is being represented on the first interim budget, which I'm going to be bringing to the board in December. That's going to be on the reforecasted budget. But the budget that we're looking at right now in this report was the budget that the board last approved, which is the adopted budget. And that has the $50,000 included in it.
Okay, so it's 50 and not 75 then?
When Devin and I were working on the adopted budget, the previous year it was 75,000, but we being conservative coming into this year that we brought it down to 50. So after getting the update from the foundation, we have now updated that to 29,000.
Okay. Just trying to follow the flow of that. Okay, thank you.
No problem. All right, so here we are looking at our contact information, and then last item is looking ahead. So these are just some compliance items that I work on with Devin. And that concludes the presentation for the financials, but I also have the supplemental documents that the board, or I'm sorry, that the district has asked to also be presented. All right, so here we are looking at the check register. So I'll just start at the top and slowly scroll on down. These are all of the checks for September. All right, next document is going to be our general ledger. So this document here is all of the transactions for the month of September. Or I'm sorry, I keep saying September. I apologize. August. I've been saying September all evening, so my apologies.
Yeah, I'm sorry, I'm having trouble.
It's general ledger.
General ledger,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Hold on, let me give you a minute, because,
This one.
oh, okay. Okay, thank you.
All right, and I'll just go ahead and scroll on down slowly through this document as well. So our 1,000s and 2,000s is our payroll expenses. 3,000s is going to be the start of the benefits. 4,000s is going to be materials and supplies. And then 5,000s is the operating services. And then anything from the 8,000s is going to be everything that's the revenue that has been booked. All right. So now I will go ahead and share the trial balance. Trial balance is basically just a report that shows that the debits match the credits and that we have essentially cleared them out for proper accounting. So you can see that there. And this next item, this one I know is always a little difficult to see, so I apologize, but this here is our cash flow. So this is our cash flow for the rest of this year, 25-26 budget. And just as a friendly reminder, this document is based on when I last pulled a report. So what we're looking at on this here, this $86,000 deficit. So as I was referencing before, is that Devin and I are constantly working on a reforecasted budget. So what I presented in my financial presentation, that is the adopted budget. What we're looking at now for this cash flow is for the reforecasted budget. This reforecasted budget, we have until December to bring in front of the board. So what you're seeing now will most definitely change, but you will see the cash at the end of the period is starting to go negative towards, I want to say, the middle of the year. I believe this is January to the end of the year, but we are working on right sizing the budget. So there was another question in regards to fundraising. So I will go ahead and go here. So we have 389,000. 350 of that is the CEF EFT grant, and then 29,000 of that is the updated amount from the parent foundation. So it's all lumped into foundation grants and donations.
Okay.
All right. And now I will share the next cash flow. This cash flow is for the 26-27 fiscal year. And you will see the negative cash flow for that year. But to keep in mind is that that is what we are looking at right now for a snapshot in time. This will improve as we slowly improve the ending for this year's budget. So something to keep in mind each month when looking at these. All right, so that concludes my presentation for this evening, unless there are any additional questions for me.
Anyone? Questions? Thank you, Janina.
Thanks, Janina.
Thank you, everyone. Enjoy your evening. Have a good night.
Well, thank
Bye.
you.
Bye.
Okay. Next, teacher liaison report, Andrea Miller.
Hi, everyone. The teachers and staff of OTA have been working very hard with our students to end Q1 strong. We've had a lot to look forward to this week and in the coming months. I'm excited to share with you all of those things. Yesterday was our first staff lunch put on by our awesome 8th grade parents. Like Bob said, the food was absolutely incredible. I even heard Mr. Peathers say today, I thought about yesterday's staff lunch all day. Those parents need to open a restaurant. We couldn't figure out if it was homemade or store-bought, but everything was just incredible. I also wanted to give a huge shout out to Amy Birch, who revamped our coffee bar in the teacher's lounge this month. That was a very thoughtful surprise. Needless to say, we're very excited for all the volunteers at our school, 8th grade parents, Amy, and the foundation for what they've done this quarter for our teachers, staff, and students. Tomorrow is Q1 exhibition day for all grade levels from 2 to 3 p.m. We welcome the school board members and the rest of the OTA community to check out all the projects our students have been working on this quarter. We're also looking forward to the Jogathon this Friday. The foundation has made raising money for our school very fun these last 2 weeks, and we appreciate their efforts coming into our classrooms every morning, getting the students excited about signing up and raising money. Friday should be a very fun celebration for our school. It's always one of the best days of the year. So you guys are all invited to join us on that day as well. Also coming up is our annual parent-teacher conferences and our fall festival. The staff has also decided to do a full school Veterans Day project, but this is a surprise for our community members, so I'm not gonna share anything more on that just yet. As discussed in our September school board meeting, 3rd through 8th grade teachers received their 2025 state testing scores. I was very impressed by the student scores, and our students and staff have a lot to be proud of. I printed the summary sheets for everyone present today to check out how OTA state testing scores compared to the state of California and San Diego Unified. Highlights include Old Town Academy averaging a higher percentage of students meeting the standards, which means you scored a level 3 standards met or a level 4 standards exceed in both math and ELA when compared to the state of California and San Diego Unified. There are many other highlights in there in the packet as well, though, so definitely check out the sheet if you would like a more detailed breakdown of those test scores. Finally, I wanted to share with you how the staff has been using our valuable weekly minimum days this month. On the first one, we had our full staff SOS, where each staff member discusses one student who may need more academic, social, emotional, or behavioral support in their class. As a staff, we help them come up with a plan to meet the needs of these students, and together we create an action plan for that teacher to implement throughout the coming month. Our second minimum day was used as a full staff meeting, and then we broke into our PLCs. For those that are not in education, PLC stands for Professional Learning Community. On these days, we're able to meet with our grade level teams, K2, 3 through 5, 6, 7, and 8. This is time that we never had before minimum days because we don't share planning time with these team members. PLCs are student-centered meetings where teachers can discuss data, effectiveness of interventions, reflect on current practices, do vertical alignment of the curriculum and core knowledge standards, and just so much more. Our last 2 minimum days we used as full staff meetings, more PLC time and teacher work time to prepare for our PBL projects, end of quarter grades, parent communication, in addition to any other thing that teachers do to prep for student learning on a day-to-day basis. Middle school teachers also use that time to revamp our parent-teacher conferences, differentiation, and our changes for PBL, elective changes for quarter 2, so those change every year. These minimum days have just been such a vital part of our teachers' ability to be effective in our classrooms and student learning. So we're just very grateful to have that time each week. Thank you.
That was awesome.
Thank you.
Good job.
But those state test scores are really powerful.
Yeah.
We're doing good things here.
STEM is like, ooh.
Well, if you read the STEM, the column is different, so OT is on the right side,
Yeah.
Right.
not to be confused. I couldn't figure out how to switch back.
Oh, interesting. I probably looked at that wrong.
Good job.
Yeah, I don't know why the mean score doesn't show on the full staff summaries. Which is why I took the totals of the percentages for that one, because you can see the mean scores for each of the individual grade level breakdowns, but you can't see that on the full staff, so I combined the percentages of the standards exceed, standards met for the full school math and full school ELA. Those percentages were much higher than the state and San Diego Unified for both math and ELA. So.
And don't we have a second grade that, meaning an additional grade, not second grade, that does STEM?
Oh, you're right.
5th grade, maybe?
Yeah, I can pull that one through.
Okay. I thought it's not even.
But I did compare my middle school to almost every school in the immediate area around us. We do well. No school touched my 8th grade math.
That's great.
These 8th grade math scores are pretty unreal.
Sorry, I would have sent these out earlier, but Mr. Heathers actually found them on the internet about an hour before this meeting.
Oh, okay.
Well, thanks for pulling it together.
Yeah, well, I made another one during my planning period today, but it was not as detailed as this one, so I literally, like an hour before this, I found all this data.
And any other questions on the teacher liaison report? Okay, yes, thank you, great job. Next, office administrator report.
Good evening, everyone. The current enrollment report for kinder, we have 16 students. First grade, we have 25. Second grade, we have 18. Third grade, we have 24. Fourth grade, we have 22. Fifth grade, we have 23. Sixth grade, we have 31. Seventh grade, we have 20, and eighth grade, we have 21, which brings us to 200 students. And we have 2 prospective students that will be enrolled by next week. And on the back of that, I included the information requested from the last board meeting for the absences reports for Fridays, the full days, Friday minimum days, Monday through Thursday, 2024-2025 school year, and the absences for this current school year.
So students on independent study don't count?
Those still accumulate as absences in Power School. So I made a note at the bottom that these absences include students that are out sick, students that are on vacation or on independent study contracts, things like that.
Counts for our ADA though, we get it back from.
On independent study? Okay, good.
But illness, how does that still?
It's excused, but it's still an absence.
So that counts against ADA essentially, and illness?
No, it's still excused, and so it doesn't count against same with the ISCs or the independent study contracts, but in Power Schools, just pulling absences, that's what it includes, because they were not present. It's, yeah, how Power School populates absences, but that includes independent study contracts, and excuse students for doctor appointments, out sick, whatever the case, excused absences.
And the absences, full and minimum, those are full and minimum days?
Correct.
Okay,
Yeah, it is.
So for 2024, it says Friday for the full days, because last year, we only had a minimum day every.
right.
Fridays, minimum every other Friday.
Okay. So,
I also broke it down myself for this year's absences, because I was confused by 120 compared to like a 367. So if you divide the 367 by 4, there's 4 days for that Monday through Thursday. You get 91.75 absences per day, compared to the 120 per day on the Fridays. And then if you do that by the 8 weeks, it's been 8 weeks of the school year, We average 15 absences on Fridays and 11.4 on a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday. So those numbers make more sense to my brain than.
Thank you.
Yeah, I also scribbled
I
that
was
bad
so-
on the
yeah.
side.
Yeah,
I got a lot here. I can add this table that I just made to the table that Melody has already sent us.
That would be great.
that'd be
Oh,
cool.
yeah, that'd be great.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Even my division on the side.
Why your math scores are so high.
I just looked at the thing and I was like, I need to actually compare this per day. To get.
so what I'm looking at is trying to figure out, based on the full year last year, are we ahead or behind?
See, that's more difficult to compare
I
because
know.
there's different number of students. So
Yeah.
we have to do it by the number of students and then that changes obviously throughout the year as well. So like the total at the end of the year, we can divide it by the average number of students that we had throughout the year to get like a number, but we wouldn't be able to compare it to this one to like at least half the year.
Yeah, and
Cause it's just a different number of students, so the totals would be different.
And just like, probably a better way would have been to do our, and I think we did this at one point last year, but last year when we were, every other half day, the Friday full day versus Friday half day, there tends to be more absences on Friday in general, so I think like comparing those would have been.
Melody did present that exact.
I'm just talking
Showed that
about
one
like,
last year.
yeah.
Those are things that are comparable, so. I just add the table that I made to the bottom of Melody's, so. You guys have access to that one now. Perfect. Thank you.
Any other questions for Melody? Thanks, Melody.
Thank you.
Before you go to.
Okay, and then next we have. Oh, well, I'll wait for Mark to.
Sorry,
No problem.
that's a larger print.
Oh, for yeah, I just laughed. As I. Asked to borrow somebody's readers or something. Real estate advisory panel update, Mark?
Okay, well. Have good news and bad news. The Senate Unified Board met. Since our last board meeting. And, they've done some good things and set some schedules.
Oh, great.
So, which do you want first, the good news or the bad news?
That's a hard one. I'll let you decide.
All right, well, I'll lead with the good news. What they've done is settled with Wells Fargo.
Okay,
And, there's, a rent being paid for the time that they're not using it, they're putting that back in. And, they made a settlement for repairs to the buildings of $1.5 million that go back into the YY funds.
okay, great.
Those are the two pieces of good news. The news that we weren't expecting
The
is that,
schedule.
what's that?
You're making me scared.
I know.
Schedule.
I know, they're currently predicting, the start of construction in 2027. With anticipated completion in the winter or summer of 2029. I reached out to the school board and, to the building people, and they came back with how this is normally done. Now, I don't know what we can do to move this up, but they're saying the design process, which is pre-schematic, schematic design, design development, construction documents, 12 months. Then regulatory permitting, which is the division of the state architect, the city of San Diego services plan, review and approval, 6 to 12 months. And the time frame is unpredictable. So the schedule could actually, if the city and the state come through faster, it could happen sooner.
But it could also take longer.
Could also.
Yeah.
I think their predictions are being conservative
Oh,
and allowing for a long time
Good.
for this stuff to happen. The bid and award process for an approval by the board takes 4 to 5 months. So issue an RFP for all the things that need to be done according to the architect's plans. And then have the board approve someone to do the work. And then start of construction. Duration is dependent on the complexity of the project. So there's a lot of decisions to be made between now and when they actually put a shovel in the ground that could change the whole timeline.
The sort of the more, I guess my question for you is the more complex than our plan is, they're saying the longer it will take?
Right, if there are environmental issues that come up, if there are elements of the building, I mean, it's great news, they found another $1.5 million
Yes.
to refit. But the architects are gonna go in, they'll do testing and figure out, and then we have to talk about, how to,
Schematics.
what kind of design we want.
Yeah.
The fancier we get, the more expensive it is,
And
the
the
longer it'll take. Right, if you've remodeled a kitchen, you know exactly how that goes.
Right, any way to do it like in smaller bites of the apple?
I don't know.
Yeah, I think we're gonna try to figure that out.
Okay,
Yeah.
I was throwing it
Yeah.
out there.
Yeah. Especially since it's such a large
It's a big
facility,
facility,
we
yeah.
wouldn't maybe need it all on day one.
Mm-hmm,
What is the age of the building?
I don't know.
Yeah.
Cause when you say building within.
They told us, I just,
Yeah,
I didn't-
we've definitely been notified.
Then.
yeah.
At least 20. I think it's been.
Mm-hmm. So that's my
Okay.
report.
Okay, well, thank you, Mark.
Can you use AI to like?
Have ChatGPT build it.
Exactly.
Okay, next board discussion, obviously Martin's not here, so we will table that.
There are a couple, there's at least one thing on there, Judy, that I do think should be discussed, and that's the ethics training, because we do need to organize that.
Okay. No, I don't have any update on that.
It's a 2-hour thing. I think instead of trying to get it has to be a public meeting.
Okay,
Because it's
the
the
one that
board.
we're adding to the meeting.
Right, and I
And
noticed
did
on
we
the,
discuss what date we were doing, trying to put that in?
well, I think my opinion is, let's just tack it onto the board meeting.
I thought that was what we discussed.
Yeah.
The next board meeting?
Yeah,
Could we start early? Or? Could we do like a 4:30 start or a?
we can talk to John about that. And give it a shot. I'm not opposed to that.
Okay, I think that would be hard to just decide because we don't have a couple people here, but I'm not.
Do you want me to take that back to John and see if he can do next board meeting and just maybe start earlier?
Well, yeah, why don't we ask him that, but we also need to make sure all board members can make that.
Yeah, we've run out of the initial set of dates that he gave us.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but I think since it has to be a public meeting, noticed and all that sort of stuff, that we just tack it onto to the board.
Well, I think that was what was
Yeah,
discussed, but okay, so,
All right, I'll check in with him and see if we can. pull it
okay,
off.
but again, and then we can send around and ask if people are available at that time.
Right, we can figure the time out, we just make sure he's available first on that day.
Okay, yeah, well, that's true, because then it's a moot point.
Yeah,
Okay, now we have parent foundation report, I don't see.
we don't have anybody doing that today, is my understanding, we got an email earlier saying there wouldn't be
You
anybody.
got, okay. I didn't-
Could I say something about the foundation? I was at the meeting last night. And I was very impressed at the positive attitude that I saw at that meeting. There were people there and the foundation. They don't make excuses of why things can't be done.
Mhm.
They get things done and they look for possibilities on how to do it. Rather than, well, we can't do this, we can't do that. I was very impressed with that. It was a good group of positive action,
Okay,
people
excellent.
actually doing things. And the more people, more parents we get involved in the foundation, it helps our school
Yeah.
tremendously.
yeah, the word excited got used a lot
Mhm.
last night,
And I
yeah.
think we've got some good leadership in the foundation, so I commend the foundation leadership for really, I think, setting that positive tone and,
making sure that we're moving in that direction. So I would agree with you 100%.
Yeah, they are looking for, a webmaster, they're looking for an auditor. And I think a treasurer,
Yeah.
Mhm.
and was there one more? And a jogathon chair for next year.
For next year. Okay.
Plus, I love that too, planning ahead.
Yeah.
Just really quickly, the age of the building, is 41 years. It's 1984. It was built in 1984. I found it online. So just to answer that question for you guys.
These are all wearing vests, right? All the bankers.
No.
Yeah, I know, just yesterday.
But isn't it California? Weren't you guys like more, I wasn't here then, but more.
Oh, yeah, they were, oh, yeah.
More casual than the rest
No.
of the. Yeah. Always.
Not in the
casual.
bank anyway.
Yeah, I guess that's true, but,
All of them.
principal report. Devin.
Yep. Okay, so, first thing is, I just wanted to publicly say thank you to Amy Birch. She made a sizable donation to the school, directly to the school, and, you know, she earmarked it for some things, and I just wanted to say thank you. It was, you know, very much appreciated, so thank you so much. Also wanted to share, that all of a sudden we're getting updates on the landslide fairly, like, regularly after all of the silence that existed.
Should Fleetwood Mac kick in about?
Man, like, I actually emailed the guy a question and got a response, like, it's just like a different world we're living in right now. But it's according to the email I got today, because I put in an email, I think, on Monday, just to say, hey, I see that things are moving. Can you give me an update so I could maybe give an update to the board? He came back and said that he thinks they will have bids in by end of month and then start. And what I've been told is this is a 2-day project. So it should happen pretty quickly once we start that process. So it feels or sounds like by our next meeting, there's a likelihood that this has been taken care of. I'm not gonna commit to that because I can't, but pretty excited about that because that would be nice to get that part of the blacktop that we've been missing back. So wanted to give that update. A couple things just coming up. Ms. Miller actually touched on them. We have exhibition tomorrow from 2 to 3. Would love for you guys to come and see the wonderful work that our kids do. Please feel free, if you do come, to float through all the classrooms and see all the amazing projects that they've worked on this first quarter. It really does highlight our kids, and these are at the first quarter projects are pretty foundational projects to what we do. So, you know, we'd love for you guys to be a part of that. Following that, on Friday is our jogathon. It's pretty much the whole half day. I mean, basically, we're out there most of that half day. So it's a fun and exciting day. Would love for everybody to be there, see that event being put on by the foundation. And I know there's been some turnover in that process, and have really been thankful for the collaboration and teamwork that I've seen in the foundation to pick up those pieces and keep everything moving. So just wanted to share that. And then 2 things I'm going to be asking for in the consent agenda. The first is just an update to independent contracts. These are long and short. Per the site visit report, we had to update our contracts to represent the proper amount of days for each specific category. Both documents have been updated for the proper amount of days. That's really all that we had to do, but those have to be board approved. And then the 25-26 site plan. All that was updated on it was that we took out any references to the district. Same with from the site visit report. When it says the district, the San Diego Unified doesn't like to say that because everybody thinks it's them. So we had those removed, and there's one other change that technically is not in there now that I am asking for, and that's just we caught it after we printed and had sent all documents out. Corey Rashad is still listed someplace. We're going to change her name out. So we're asking for it to be approved with that change that we will make. And then it's not going to be Nick Brown, but I do have somebody here from Scholarly Lead. Scholarly Lead is a recruiting, kind of a marketing recruiting team. They're going to talk through their stuff. I've met them at the past 2 conferences I've gone to. They do have seems like a very successful product. I believe, if I'm correct, they're gonna tell you that they can get 30 kids per month with this program. The program runs currently, what the numbers that have been given to me would be equivalent to what we were paying for marketing monthly. So it falls in that category, and we do still have a bucket of that. But I think Alvin had requested to kind of see what that marketing stuff looked like. So I asked them to come give a presentation. It's gonna be about 15-20 minutes. They're gonna go over everything, and then that way we can kind of discuss later if this is something that we want to take on or not. So I believe it's John who came. Is that correct, John?
Yes, it is. Thank you so
Awesome.
much for having me. Can everyone
Yeah.
hear me okay?
Yes, sir.
Sounds great. Well, yes, thank you so much for having me. Yes, Devin and I met earlier this year at the California Charter Schools Conference out in Sacramento. And since then, he and our co-founder, Nick, have had multiple conversations about how Scholarly can help grow Old Town Academy's enrollment. My goal tonight is to understand where you all are with enrollment currently, where you want to go, and show you what a focused short-term enrollment trial with us could look like. It's very simple, cost-effective, and it's built to show immediate results. Before we jump in, I do want to check in and make sure I have the most up-to-date picture. So just to check in first, where are we currently sitting on enrollment and capacity by grade? I heard earlier in the meeting that we had about 222 students. Was that correct?
No, we have 200.
200. Okay, I heard two different counts, so that 201 is the most accurate. Thank
Yep.
you for that. All right, and then I know we had also talked through the capacity grade by grade. I know that we had listed off the enrollments per grade, but I didn't get a chance to catch all of those. By any chance, would we be?
I have it right now. Do you want me to say it out loud? Or?
Yeah, so our max in each grade is 30, and Christine's gonna give you the numbers.
So kindergarten is 16, first grade is 25, second grade 18, third grade 24, fourth 22, fifth 23, sixth 31, seventh 20, eighth 21. That's a total of 200, and we have 2 on the bench, I guess.
They're in on deck. They're in the hole.
Yes, that,
This is my pleasure.
our office administrator let us know are in the process of being enrolled. Thank you, Christine, for reading that for us.
I got it right there.
Yeah, thank you so much, Christine. I apologize for not catching that earlier, but I appreciate you all rehashing that for me. Now, with that in mind, where do you all want to be for the 2026-2027 school year?
I would like us to be at 270. That's the max that our school would take. That's where we'd like to get. But ideally, I would like to at least be at 250.
All right, well, thank you for that. Just want to make sure I write that down real quick. Thank you for those counts, and thank you for giving me some insight into that. Now, of course, we're now in October, and we've just wrapped up the past year's enrollment cycle. Are there any lessons learned by the Old Town Academy team when it comes to enrollment?
That is a loaded question, sir. We've learned a lot of things. One of the biggest things that we've learned is that even though applications have been accepted, seats have been accepted, there's no guarantee that we're gonna see the eyes of that child in our classroom. So we really have to wait until day one to get a count and understand who's coming and who's not. We have a process where we're really working hard in the summer that we really created this last summer to make sure that we're keeping them engaged and trying to keep them in process. But even with that, we didn't hit the numbers that we were hoping to hit.
Understood. Thank you for sharing that. And yeah, I completely understand, the importance of keeping families engaged over the summer. Are there any particular grades or family segments that have been hardest to fill? I see a couple of grades where we saw lower enrollment.
So that second grade class would be my response to that. Kindergarten looks slow right now, but in general, the class that is in second grade was a low kindergarten class. And so we had trouble in first grade and second grade kind of backfilling that class.
Thank you for letting me know. And then any kind of specific parent segments that you've seen that have been a bit harder to get in the door?
Parent segments, harder to get, what parent segments are we having trouble reaching?
What do you mean by segments? I
Like
don't think I understand.
contacting the parent or like
Yeah, I'm not sure I understand the question.
Demographics, I don't know.
Yeah.
You're talking
Yeah,
about-
so-
Yeah, what do you mean by that, John?
Yeah, you have to elaborate.
No worries. I mean, demographics, parents who might be coming from, maybe a specific, maybe they're parents who commute, parents who are interested in something specific about the school, just any specific, common maybe pain points you've seen, with parents that have caused them to maybe drop out of the enrollment process.
I think I can answer it for why people might be interested in our school, but I'm not sure I can answer it for why they're not necessarily. Like, most of the situations when people leave, it's that they're displeased with something within the school, whether that's class, me, whatever the answer to that question is.
Got it. No worries. Well, thank you for sharing that insight. With that in mind, have you changed your marketing approach or schoolment process since the spring?
We haven't changed our schoolment process, but we have altered the marketing process at this point.
How so?
Well, we had a marketing firm that we were working with. We're no longer working with that marketing firm, and I would say that we went from digital marketing to much more of a grassroots approach.
And what has that grassroots approach looked like?
I mean, we've hit up apartment complexes. We've been door to door over the summer, like literally knocking on doors, talking to people with, that have kids. Like it's as grassroots as you can get. I mean, if you think about politics and what they do to sell at the door, we're doing the same thing. We're knocking and talking through why our school would be a great choice for their child.
And also he went to,
Oh yeah, we did a lot with the military bases as well. We reached out to them. We do have kind of a military faction here, and so we really leaned into that, and we're still in the process of doing that. We're actually trying to get into like a Halloween thing that's within the base so that we can be part of that process. I think that one might not work out for us because I think we have to pay $500 to be a part of it, so it might not be something we end up doing, but we're looking at that and looking at the different ways. Our marketing is regularly being pushed to the Air Force or the Army, the bases, I guess, military bases. Yeah, I know my dad was in the Air Force, apologize. It's just the way it rolls off my tongue. Where all of our marketing stuff is actually going out with packets whenever somebody comes to the base for the first time and is looking for a place for their child. So that seems to be like our hope with that is that that's a consistent draw. However, the fear with that is also that, because people are chipped in and chipped out with the military, that we're also sometimes going to be losing kids in that process, which also, to go back to one of your questions earlier, we do see a lot of people leave because of the military.
Thank you all so much for that context. That's very helpful. Based on what we've seen at Old Town Academy and other schools like it, the opportunity for us to come in here and help is very clear. We don't want to try to reinvent your marketing or shake things up too much. We really want to amplify what's already working and ensure that the families that come to your school and are interested turn into enrollments. With that, do of course have a presentation here to share. Can you all see my screen?
It says has started screen sharing.
Yeah, it just hadn't popped up yet for some reason.
Can you all see that?
There we go.
Yep.
Sounds good. Well, thank you all for that. Thanks for letting me know. I would definitely not want to have presented just a blank screen. Well, yeah. So of course, once again, we are scholarly.com and we help schools grow through digital advertising and marketing. I'll real quick walk through just a little bit of our capabilities, what a 3-month trial would look like and what you all would get, and then some outcomes and next steps. And then once we wrap that up, I'll have some time to take questions. Are we ready to dive on into it?
Yeah, go.
Thank you.
That's great. Well, yeah, just to kick us off.
It took me so long to figure this out. I know, I thought you were looking at yourself.
We've worked with a number of school partners around the country, including charters here in California, such as California Creative Learning Academy and Libertas College Prep, both of which are in the LA area. Now, how we help schools grow enrollment is pretty straightforward. We follow the enrollment funnel, wherein which we help support with awareness with parents, including branding, cohesive websites, and school videos, all of these to get parents interested. Then we'll also help with parent lead generation using our digital advertising with engaging copy and attractive visuals. We'll get parents to take the first step and fill out a short interest form where they share with us their basic contact information. This all will go to both our team and you all. From there, we'll proceed with streamlined follow-up. We'll help to send automatic emails and texts as soon as they come into our system, as well as weekly blast texting and regular email newsletter writing. Your team will handle calls, but will also help to support throughout the trial and then throughout an extended campaign, should you all choose to continue with us, to make sure folks are proceeding through the funnel, they're really getting engaged with, and they really feel valued by Old Town Academy. From there, we'll go into tours and applications. We'll help to support the conversion of parents into, coming to visit the school and to apply. And then from there, those interested parents, once they've come in, they've seen the amazing program you all have, will go on to enroll. Now, this is really going to be an investment that pays off. On average, we see that every year for our partner schools, they're able to add 63 students, and they see an average per pupil funding increase of $877,000. Now, we've had a lot of schools we've worked with who have seen amazing enrollment growth. We have here Thelma Benke. She is the enrollment director for one of our longest partner schools. We've been working with them since 2019 to help boost enrollment. It's because of them that we are now helping schools around the country. And we've helped out a number of other schools as well. Over our history since 2019, we've helped enroll over 2,000 students at high-performing charters like yours. We've helped generate over 60,000 parent leads, and we've helped to improve the enrollment at over 30 schools. Now, as I mentioned, Thelma's with UPrep, our original school partner. We've helped them achieve their enrollment goals for 5 consecutive years, enrolling upwards of 700 students and reaching over 450,000 families here in Denver. We've also helped new schools such as Honor Prep. Honor Prep is a brand new Charlotte area school that opened this year. They needed help to get at least 80 students for their school, but when they first partnered with us, they only had 4. We helped them get those other 76 so that they were able to open and now have 125 students at the school for this year. We've also worked with Catalyst Academy in Pittsburgh, where when we first started with them last summer, they only had 304 students enrolled, and they aim to get to over 350. Through our partnership, we helped them grow to 383 students by the beginning of last year. And in our time working with them, we've had 49 students result directly from our efforts. Now, with that, let me end my screen share here. I'd love to walk you all through real quick just what a 3-month trial with us would look like. So we have various different plans and different levels that you can join us for. We have, for example, our gold plan where that's about $6,500 every month. That brings in a lot of families. But for you all, we think that our bronze plan would be a best way for you all to get kind of just a taste of how we can help and what we can do. We'd work with you all for 3 months. It'd only be $3,500 each month, and we'd be focused on just delivering clear, measurable enrollment results before the end of this trial period. Now, with this, you would get between 25 and 40 interested families in the door each month through our lead generation. And we wouldn't just be putting out, the same ads that we might for any other school. For Old Town Academy, we would be doing a custom enrollment strategy where we'd be working to really dig in more to understand what gets parents to really love, enjoy, and stay with your school. Using that, we'll build professional ads and creatives, which we'll put out online and to families in the area. And we'd also make sure that, with state-of-the-art targeting, we're reaching families who are likely to convert and enroll at the school. We'll help you write and build automated follow-up processes, including emails and texts, so that parents stay in the loop and feel very valued by your school throughout the enrollment process. It'll also help support the calling that you all will do. And you'll have access to our Scholar Lead portal. It's a digital online portal where you can see all of the information on the interested families you've generated. And of course, our team will be very personal and very helpful throughout this process. We'll be providing you weekly performance updates so we can ensure that we're making changes and being as effective as possible. Essentially, we'll become your digital enrollment department for the next 90 days. You'll see immediate lift, and we can decide together whether or not it makes sense to extend and do a full campaign leading up to the 2026-2027 school year. Now, with that, I would love to field any kind of questions that you all might have and just hear a little bit more about your thoughts about what we have to offer.
Does anyone have any questions?
Oh, I do.
So Gavin does too.
Okay, well, then, yeah, why don't we start?
Everybody wanted to.
I know.
It's good to see you here, so.
I'm sorry, please forgive me. So I just really wanted to know, like, how do you aggregate or, bring in new students? Cause we're like in the middle of the year, we're in October. So what are your, plans on doing that, your thought process, your just, procedure?
So for doing this, and this is assuming we're going to help bring in students for the 26-27 school year, we would start right now by doing a lot of awareness content to get parents interested in and kind of aware of the school as an option here. And then what we would do is we would then, once we have kind of reached a lot of parents and really highlighted what makes your school unique and a great place for their students, we would then put out digital ads with attached lead forms. Essentially, the way it would work is, and I can also share my screen here, we have our example here from Catalyst. So a parent would see an ad like this on Facebook, Instagram, similar platforms as they're scrolling.
Oh, that's how you aggregate the list. Okay.
Yep. They see these kinds of happy, smiling kids alongside messaging from your school. When they click that Learn More button, they're shown a short form that just asks very simple contact information, their name, email, phone number, the grade of their student. They fill that out, hit submit, and that information goes to you. It's very easy for parents to express interest in your school after seeing an ad, and it's very easy for your team to be able to reach out to them right away.
Thank you.
Christine, do you have any?
I'm sure.
Alvin?
Hey, sir, how you doing today? So what success rate have you seen with the the bronze program? What success rate have you seen within those 3 months dealing with other schools?
We usually see about, we usually are able to bring in a handful of new students in that time. And with the lead up to this year, I know that right now we're looking at October. Our big game plan for a October contract like this, where we'd be doing 3 months, we'd be wanting to help get students in the door for the spring semester. With bronze plans, we can see loads of success. We have some schools where even on a bronze plan, we'll get far beyond those 40 interested students, and they will still see a large amount of folks go on to then apply.
And then, so have you seen that success specifically like in San Diego in California?
We have seen that kind of success in California, yes. Libertas and Cal Creative, two of the schools we mentioned earlier, are in the LA market, which is highly competitive, where they're going up against a lot of other schools. And we're still able to help them generate upwards of, 40 applications, about 3 classes worth of new students each year.
Okay. Another question about the awareness content. How do you, so I saw the ad with the cute kids on there. It was awesome. How do you target the San Diego Old Town area? Like, how does that work?
What we would do is we would do geofencing. So we would essentially look at families who are either sometimes within a certain radius of your school, such as everyone within 5 to 7 miles, or we target specific zip codes or neighborhoods where you currently have families. For example, if you have certain neighborhoods you do transportation from, or if there are certain neighborhoods where you see a lot of your current families coming from, we can also target those specific areas. And then from there, we can also target the specific age brackets using Meta's tools of parents who are going to have kids in your specific age range. We can target parents of 3 to 5-year-olds, 6 to 10-year-olds. We can also acquire a list that allows us to directly text parents in your area.
Okay, and then the weekly report that you talked about, what goes in that weekly report?
So typically that's in the form of a 30-minute meeting at the start of our contract with one of our school success managers. That includes myself. So it would be kind of like you and I sit down for 30 minutes over Zoom or a Google Meet like this one, and we just kind of talk through where you're at right now with students, what kind of conversations you're having with interested parents who are responding, how our ads are doing. And it's really just kind of a discussion where we figure out what's working, what's not, and how can we always be continually improving on the results we're getting for you.
Got it. And then you guys offer military discount too, correct?
You know what? I'm happy to talk to our team and see about it.
So.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Something, okay, Mark.
Yeah, so I assume you'll do a proposal for the 3 months. In the proposal, will you set the performance measures that will be used for the 3 months?
Yeah, the performance measures we have now is that 25 to 40 interested families number. But just so I understand, is there any specific kind of performance measure you'd want to achieve in those 3 months, whether it be enrollments, applications? If so, we'd be happy to lay out additional measures of success for what we can achieve in those 3 months.
Yeah, I think, something that involves how many students end up actually enrolling.
Right,
Yeah.
and also a year over year, because we're building. So
Yeah.
we, need to see that we hit capacity here and then we
Mhm.
continue to grow as we grow.
Mhm.
And it's a more difficult period now than it would have been 4 months
But,
ago.
yeah.
Right.
But I'm just saying, if there's any schematics that they have for that, that would be
Mhm, mhm.
just.
Okay. So
Okay.
you just tell me.
I have some questions too, right?
Oh, go ahead, forget.
Everybody else.
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you for letting us.
I had a meeting with Nick about this.
Oh,
okay,
So
okay.
yeah.
And I guess my question is, just following up, many of my questions have been answered with, everyone else, but just if you say, give us the specific targets, after you study the situation and you think that the number of students can be enrolled and we don't meet those targets, sort of, then where are we? We've spent sounds like about $10,000. Yeah, okay, with thank you for that math, and for the bronze plan, if we don't get either any new enrollments or any more than our numbers have shown us over the years we would get ourselves, are we looking at any sort of guarantees here, or just how does that work?
Right now, I know that with the regular check-ins we do, we hope to not reach a point where we're seeing that's an issue. Part of the reason we're always checking in is to ensure that there are enrollments coming in and that we are pushing towards those results. That is a conversation we'd likely have if we were getting a little bit further into the campaign and we were seeing that we weren't really getting any enrollments from our work thus far. However, that's something we'd likely be catching earlier on in the work and adjusting as needed to ensure that we are getting folks in. I'd be happy to talk a little bit more with our team and provide a little bit more info about what that might look like if we're not seeing success, how we would proceed and work with you all to rectify that.
Yeah, please do that, John.
That'd be great.
And one more?
No, you can go ahead.
I was gonna say, and could you give us, I suppose that would also be included in the proposal, give us some sense of why you guys know how to recruit better than somebody else would, what your experiences with education and with managing demographics.
I can tell you that Nick Brown is a former teacher. He worked at a charter. That was one of the things that we kind of connected on in our conversation. So they at least have that understanding. And he's a co-founder, I believe.
Okay. Yeah, because I sort of had a similar thought to what Mark was saying. I mean, some of the things definitely, your presentation helped, but some of the things seem very similar to, other marketing. But, so it'd be great to hear just sort of what in addition you all provide. You did touch on that some, but.
Thanks, Mark.
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
Kind of
I-
what differentiates.
Yeah, what differentiates and makes you know that you can do more than, say, other marketers that we've hired.
Yep, I want him to answer this question, but just from my experience, the thing that I see that they do differently is they just are involved in the process more, so.
Okay, that's what it's.
Yeah, the marketing teams that I've worked with in the past have been marketers, and they're not scheduling tours or getting that information.
Walk a mile in those shoes.
Yeah, you're not getting an update of, these people are interested, reach out to these people, so they just take it maybe a step or two steps further than what I've seen at other places, which is why I felt the need to bring them and put them in front of you guys.
Mhm. And also, so another question I have is just on the long term, also, or would it be sort of this $3,000 a month then, long term?
I think that's a question for them.
Well, I mean, after we do the trial,
Well,
is
we
it
just put it in the contract.
still? Well,
That's
yes.
part of that
but-
30-minute negotiation
well,
process. I
Well, yeah,
understand.
yeah, but I'm just saying, it's, just adding that up over a year, just.
Yeah, it adds up.
Yeah.
Oh, I get it, yeah.
Yeah, so for starters, Devin, thank you. I really do appreciate you sharing a little bit more about our team. Yes, Devin is right. We do have a team that is comprised of former educators, and our company was built by former educators, and we're specifically attuned and dedicated to charter schools and school markets. We also, of course, as Devin mentioned, once again, thank you. We do work very heavily with you all, and we're very intimate partners to ensure that we are really delivering results, and we're helping throughout the process. I would say that if I were to describe how involved we were, we're going to be there helping you out until that family steps foot in the door for a tour.
Okay, well, thank you.
Good presentation, John.
Yeah,
good job.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. And oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, I'm sorry, I was addressing that to you.
No worries.
But-
Yeah, and then you will need to help out a bit here with the calling families. We do find that personal touch from someone at the school is very helpful. But outside of that, we're going to be very involved and very helpful. To answer the question about the $3,500 each month, so that is our bronze plan. And yes, if you did the trial with the bronze plan, that is what you would pay for those 3 months. And then if you continue, that price will stay the same. We do actually do discounts if you were to do a year-long contract. So if you wanted to partner with us for a full 12 months, it would be a little bit less than that as well. But yeah, that price would remain the same.
Anybody else have any questions?
No, thank you.
John, thank you so much for filling in for Nick. I know that the time change messed you guys up a
Yeah.
little bit, so I appreciate that, sir.
Bye.
No worries at all. I'm very happy I was able to talk with your team today. It's clear you all have an awesome school. Also, I love this camera setup you all have with the 360. It's great to be able to see everyone's faces. But thank you so much for having me. I'll hop off here in a few minutes, but just before I do, I'll toss my email and my phone number here in the chat, just in case anyone wants to reach out with any information or questions.
So John, nobody's gonna see it in the chat, just a heads up. Nobody's actually active on the Zoom, it's just us. So like they're not gonna see it, but if you wanna make sure to email it to me, I can push it out to everybody if you'd like.
Send it to Devin.
That'd be great.
Cool.
That sounds fantastic, Devin. All right, well, thank you all so much. Glad we could talk today, and just love to see what you all are doing.
Awesome. Thanks so much, John.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, so I have one more item on my list. Thank you guys for being so engaged, to be honest.
No, thank you for setting that up.
Yeah, I mean, that was really, yeah.
You'd ask for it, ask for it, you got it, Toyota.
That goes wrong.
Yes, touche. We
Speaking of
love
branding.
Monday. We love you. Thank you for our touch screens.
That's true.
The last thing on my list was just a middle school field trip update. So I did send out a survey to parents. And I would say that right now the survey is incomplete, so I'm gonna give you kind of update to what I have for each grade, and just kind of tell you what I think next steps are for the school. So the first thing is in 6th grade, we have 31 students, 19 people completed the survey thus far, so that's 61%. Of that 61%, so all the data I'm gonna give you now is of the people who completed the survey, not of the full 31. 63% of people said that they would take on the cost of the trip. And 26% said maybe, so that's a total of 89% who said they were a yes or maybe for that field trip. There are 12 responses remaining as a school. I'm gonna issue it again, just to kind of push and see if I can get people, and then we're actually gonna pick up the phone and call to get the responses, because I do think it's important that we do our very best to get 100% in this information. And we also, within that, we're able to get a number of drivers that we would need for that sixth grade field trip. So as I'm looking at the sixth grade field trip, I'm making no commitments today, but it does seem like this is a field trip that we do have the capacity to move forward with. So we will, in fact, with all three of these, we're gonna have a field trip night to have some of the conversations about it, but it does appear that sixth grade is likely a go on their field trip. But still a lot of steps before we're guaranteed that that's accurate.
Do you have a question? Yeah, for transparency, I know that for this meeting, since, can you give some background as to why we did a parent survey?
Yeah.
Why we're doing that?
So just with our enrollment at the state it is, our streamline of revenue not being what it has been in the past. One of the things that had to be right-sized in our budget was sort of our field trip, what do I want to call it, budget line. And so, it was something that we had to kind of cut out of ours in order to maintain some stuff here, to keep things going. So what was kind of actually happened at the last school board meeting was requested that there was a survey, and to see if parents could take on this cost. And it's almost all being put on them at this point. So that's what the survey was about. Does that make sense, Alan? Or got further questions?
I'm sorry, so it wouldn't get funded, so we were asking the parent that they would be.
Before we just cut it, we wanted to give them the option.
Okay, but it hasn't been cut.
It has not currently been cut. That's what we're trying to figure out. Is it
Feasible.
yeah, is it feasible or not? And if it's not, the plan is to come up with at least a day trip or something to fill back in that space.
Gotcha.
But what we didn't want to do was pull away from field trips, knowing where we were at, with the possibility that parents might want to take this on and do it.
Right.
So we issued a survey to kind of get that information and see where we stood. So sixth grade feels like, from the data I have, that it is, again, we're gonna have to have a meeting, we're gonna have to go through some stuff, but it does feel like it is a doable trip from the responses that we've got. But we also have 12 remaining responses out there. If they were all no's, that would slant this data drastically and maybe switch that decision or the thought process of it. So just wanted to be transparent and upfront about that.
What's the scope of the cost?
Like the total amount of the.
Well, what would a parent have to take on?
And what's the timeline? Isn't it in the spring?
The trips are in the spring, yeah, they're all in May. To answer the question that Mark gave, I apologize, I have to reference. If you get there, let me know.
It's a rate.
That's probably the most economical one in sixth grade.
True.
Oh, yeah, thanks.
Is it?
So sixth grade is, it would cost them $385 per student. Seventh grade, actually kind of has two different options. The first option was it would cost $350 if parents chose to drive, which is what the data says that when we get there, that's what they're leaning towards, or $650 if they took a bus. And then then eighth grade, which is the one I feel terrible about the most, is $1,385 per student, and that's if every student committed to go. And that's if parents were driving. If it was per student with the use of a bus, it would be $1,750. So this is something that we have absorbed between the foundation donations and the school. We have absorbed a large portion of this, asking for somewhere between, I want to say, I can't remember my numbers exactly. I think we asked for
$500 to $600 over the last like 4 years.
Yeah, like for the eighth grade and versus about 100 to 200 in the sixth and seventh grade range. The problem is some of them, like the eighth grade trip is a set amount of price. So it is that going to be divided by the amount of kids that go, where sixth and seventh is actually per kid. So there is a difference in how that operates with the trip as well.
And the scope of the actual trip, are there plans to have alternatives to the full boat that goes on now that's shorter, different?
So we as a team have talked about some potential ideas, but we haven't settled anything because we don't know what's happening with this. So these are all things that they have issued contracts for us for. I just haven't signed them yet. I've been holding off. Now we are with the 8th grade trip, we're actually under a multi-year contract that I signed last year. I think it was a 3-year contract because we weren't in any of this at that point. They have given us until basically mid-October. So as we're sitting here right now, to give them an answer on whether we plan to move forward with it or not, and we can get out of our contract under that premise. So in issuing this data and then gonna have some follow-up with them as well.
Okay.
When
will you have an answer?
Well, I think I need more data to answer that question. So my hope is by the end of the week or the start of next week, just to be able to kind of get an idea where we're at. So like I said, I do feel like 6th grade seems like it is a likely one that we would be able to move forward with.
And both to 6th and 7th grade, I mean, those costs don't seem that different than what they've been in the past.
Right.
So those have been largely, it seems like, parent funded.
Yeah, I think they've been about $150 to $200. So they've
Okay.
paid for between a little less than half to a little bit above half on those trips. Where we've been able to get the 8th grade trip down to between like she said, 3 and I think 5, but she said 600, somewhere in that
Like
range.
2 years ago, mine was 6.
Yeah, I think that's probably accurate.
1385.
That would be because we're not absorbing any of the cost. The foundation's got, this is the cost to
Less
them.
students.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. The factors.
Is everybody good on that? Everybody understand where we're at? So that's 6th grade. 7th grade, out of the 22 students we have in the class, only 12 families have completed that survey, so we're at 55%. 67% of the ones that have completed it have said yes. 25% of them have said maybe. For out of the 12 families, 11 of them are either a yes or a maybe at 92%. So it does seem like, as long as this data persists, that this is also a likely trip to happen. Again, lots of steps in between, but those two do seem feasible under this premise. 8th grade, to be honest, I've been monitoring the data pretty closely in 8th grade. I got a lot of responses within the last 24 hours that really shifted where the data was. So out of the 22 students, 14 families have completed the data on this for 64%. So out of that 64%, 43% have said yes. 7% have said maybe. 50% have said no here. So this is a 50%. And remember, at their price, if they don't all do it, it actually goes up per kid. So with that in mind, this one seems not as viable as the other ones do currently. But I do have had the room parent reach out to me, request to have a field trip meeting. I think we will still take that step and kind of update on this data. But this one seems like one that we're probably going to have to replace and figure out something else for that, which feels terrible because I know that the Yosemite trip is a big deal here for people. So that's kind of where we're at with the data. Wanted to share that. I wish it was more positive. To be honest, I've been shocked by the data in general. I assumed that a lot of these would be no from the go. And like I said, the 8th grade data recently shifted in the last 24 to 48 hours, because when I looked at it to start the week, I specifically kind of pinpointed 8th grade knowing that it was, such a bigger one.
Bigger ticket.
Yeah, and there were a lot of these there. I think all the yeses were in there, and then a flow of no's have recently come in.
Have we ever pursued sponsorship for these?
Not since I've been here. This has been, the sponsorship has been the foundation, if you will.
Right.
So it hasn't been something that was a need. It's definitely something that if you've got ideas, Mark, I'd be glad to look in. I do know that parents have asked for some fundraising around this, which
We have to have a no or no go stop date, and if they can afford it, that's a lot of money. I mean, So.
Yeah, I put within the survey a down payment of when that
Right.
would be due and how much that would be.
Something or, rotary, type of things.
Yeah, so.
Problem is, like, students will like say days before they were supposed to leave, or like one day before we're gonna leave. Sorry, my kid can't come to have my money back. That happens like every single year, and the school takes on that
Yeah.
cost as well.
Yeah,
Because
I
we
mean,
just don't have that.
Yeah,
and sometimes we just broken bones or whatever.
Sure.
Yeah.
well, we've actually had some kids go with broken bones.
Is
since
it
I've been
higher?
here.
We could go for whatever,
Yeah.
reason. Now, not just.
I
don't
mean,
feel
Miller's
like
first
it.
trip, I think there was a student who had a broken
Oh,
leg. for the whole
geez.
trip.
We had a great time.
Yeah.
I mean, the other thing, it just seems like, I don't know, I love the sponsorship idea, but also maybe. Is there a possibility of it going back to how my understanding is that the Yosemite trip used to be more of a grassroots
So
trip
was.
than
We-
it wasn't a $2,000 trip.
Yeah, Judy, we did discuss that,
Okay.
as a team. We didn't have anybody who was willing to take on that full responsibility of that without there being other adults and other team members there that were trained in some of the stuff that were out there, which I understand, and I'm not gonna ask a teacher to go on a trip like that when they don't feel like they have the support or they're comfortable in that situation. So I think it's, from our standpoint, it's kind of a company that we're, doing that or we're gonna find something else as far as that goes, so.
Insurance and liability.
Yeah, there's a lot with that. To be 100% honest, from a liability standpoint, I'm shocked that it was ever allowed to go down the way it was before. Just because of the insurance policies and things involved. I think it's awesome, I think it's awesome that she ran those things the way she did. I just, if a kid had gotten seriously injured on that trip, like the school would have been entirely liable for that. And so that puts us in a tough position where when we pay off to another company, it kind of helps in those areas, right? The liability, all those things kind of release from us, so.
But even before the teacher, I mean, I don't know if, those of you who've been here in the past, I think there were more parents,
Yeah.
volunteers.
Well, that would be part of it anyway, right? But again, there's a teacher who's in charge of that,
Okay.
and that's gotta be a comfort level that somebody is willing to take on. And
Okay.
right now, we don't have a team member that's willing to do that, which I fully support that choice.
Mhm. And then I was just looking, I don't know if it's helpful, but just looking back at what we've spent in past years on field trips. I mean, again, that 6th and 7th grade field trip, parents in past years have been paying that 300 plus amount, before this. So it's not, I think, that big of a difference.
Sure.
In.
But we needed them to commit to it though this year, because we can't take on the brunt.
Yeah, in the
People back
past,
out.
we haven't even asked for payments until a certain point, where this year we'd be asking for them by like a down payment by November 30th, just as a commitment piece.
Uh-huh.
Because that would help us pay the down payments for it, and that way it's really not affecting our budget the same way.
Mhm.
So there were very calculated decisions within those timelines.
Okay.
If a family, pledges their commitment, and let's say they fall in financial hardship, then what happens then?
I mean, I think that's the
So we don't
risk that we would have to be taking on as a school. Where we would absorb that, and we have to be willing to absorb that in certain situations. That's why the 8th grade field trip feels a lot harder, because absorbing that large amount would be very difficult for the school right now, where, a kid or two in one of these other trips, we could absorb and it wouldn't ruin our budget, where, we're talking about tens of thousands of dollars on the 8th grade field trip. If multiple kids did that.
Is there an allocated amount that the company needs for the 8th grade field trip? Is it like 25?
Yeah, I think it's, I apologize, I didn't bring that
No,
number.
it's
I
fine.
think that number is like 29. Yeah, it's a big,
It's a
endeavor for us.
Big commit,
Yeah.
okay, that's what.
So again,
But I can check that number, and if you guys have,
They
further,
do.
that's just what, yeah, they absolutely take care of the whole process, so.
But there's only 21 kids.
Right, that's what I mean. Every kid who doesn't commit to it makes the price go up a little bit more, right? So,
for each other
Yeah.
kid.
Yeah. Thank you.
so that does conclude my report. We'll be doing a lot more with the field trip, information here in the near future. We'll be reaching out to, parents and scheduling a meeting, and I think I haven't talked to the middle school team after going through this data, because waited in basically until the last minute before I came down here so I could get all the data that I could get before I came down. But I do think that likely I'm going to push for us to have a 6th grade field trip night, a 7th grade field trip night, or 8th, like separate meetings at least, because I do think that they're gonna be separate intakes at this point, how we have divided them up.
Thank you.
Is this, the safety plan, is it online?
Um,
Can it be? Is there information in here that,
so I would say, I don't know the answer. I don't think it's online, and if it's not online and it's not mandated by the state, I would not feel comfortable putting it on because.
okay,
Well, when you have a safety plan, it actually says where you're going to rally if they're in case of certain situations.
yeah.
Which could be notifying the outside of what that pattern was, and I wouldn't want to do that. As a high school student, right after Columbine, as a freshman in high school, we had 9 bomb threats that year at my school. The first 6, we were taken to the football field every single time. And then everybody realized we were doing the same thing every single time. So then they changed that pattern. And so because of that, that's constantly in my head as to what may happen with a pattern that we continue.
Okay.
So I would want to avoid that.
So
Okay,
this, it also sounds like then it needs to be a dynamic document too, based on what you're
Correct.
saying.
right,
So,
okay,
I don't think it's online though, to my knowledge. It's not.
Okay.
Like, I can't remember ever requesting it should be put on. Yeah.
yeah.
I kind of froze for a second. I was like, oh my God, are we
You can
publishing
check,
this?
yes. No, those are
Yes. So, okay, so that's all I've got.
Okay, okay, yes, thank you. And just one point of note that will be helpful in the future, I think I've asked for this in the past, but I haven't asked for it recently, is just a red line with the changes. I think it'd be helpful just to us to be able to see them, but also for you, a mistake can get in there that isn't intended and then we've got a typo.
Are you talking about the site plan?
Any of these documents that we're,
Okay.
voting on the change, just. to be-
So like I said, the changes were very minimal, both of them.
No, I know, what I'm saying is even it's, I find just it's helpful for, even for you to be able to review a red line because something inadvertently could be changed that you don't intend to be changed, but we don't know if we don't catch it.
Sure.
So that's all. So just for future,
Thank
that
you.
would be helpful. Okay, so I think we are now through all the presentations. Now to new business and consent action items. We're voting on the consent action items and then we're gonna remove out 3A and B as a separate vote. So let's, I guess, first do the consent action items, which would be 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And then we're moving out as requested 3A and B. So first, I just want to, we're voting for the approval of the consent action items 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, again. 7, 8, 9, 10, all in favor?
We have to move.
we had somebody. has to
Oh,
move it.
that's true. We
I
need to-
move
Yeah.
I move to
So
approve.
let's move it.
Just,
I move to. approve.
okay, and then do we have a second?
Well, I'll second,
Okay,
and then I have a request that the September board meeting be retitled. The minutes be retitled as September
Yeah, it's for the date.
oh, on here,
when it goes online, right? Because it's not public right now.
Judy, not what you're looking at, the actual document.
oh, the actual
Yeah,
document.
you remember when you asked
Yeah,
which
yeah,
one
yeah,
was
yeah,
it?
yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's the only tweet.
Okay, meeting minute, I'm gonna make that note on here.
And I'm also gonna just remind that I am asking for the site plan to be updated with also Corey Rashad's name being switched out. So that's just a reminder of that as well.
Okay, so then there's 2 things on the consent agenda, just, correction to the September board meeting and a correction to the site
Yeah, I would just say removal and update of positioning.
removal and update. Rashad. Okay, do we wanna just, so we just get to another motion and another second, just
I
to,
move to approve.
okay, as amended.
Yeah, amended, second,
Okay, all in favor?
aye,
Any opposed? None. Any abstentions? None, okay, so that has passed unanimously. And then we have, as a separate item, 3A and B. Do I have anyone that wants to move for those?
Can you explain that one more time, what we're doing with three A and B
yeah,
again?
this is a vote to put the vote on the November
On the next meeting.
agenda.
So we're not
The chair
voting.
declined to put it on the agenda in August,
So.
and I didn't realize
Yeah,
that I had another avenue to get it on the agenda, so I missed September. So,
it's pushed in November.
so this is a vote to have a vote
In November.
in November,
November.
right?
For the A and B. Three A
Yeah,
and B.
3A and B.
I move to approve.
3A,
Mm-hmm.
Oh, well, I was actually, we're taking them together, 3A and B.
oh,
We might-
no, that's what I said initially, was to move them both out separate.
He wanted separate votes.
Separate
on A
votes,
and
because I
B.
believe the A should be a vote separate. Now, we
I
can
agree.
say for the November agenda that it'll be separate for each director. We can do that, I think.
Well, okay, I mean, that's not how this is written here, so we can vote on this as written. But you wanna do 3A and then 3B as two separate votes?
Can I ask a question about the agenda though? So if we have.
Those are two different things.
I'm sorry, if we change it now, would that be kind of against this agenda and will we have to put it on the next agenda or?
Well, any director for the agenda can ask that a thing be taken out of the consent agenda. So, and
We voted separately,
I
right?
talked to Miriam and I thought she was gonna do that, but she didn't, so,
Okay, so yeah, so we've taken this out of the consent agenda.
yeah.
Okay,
So, and I'm saying we should have separate votes on A and a vote on B.
okay, so we can have a vote for 3A.
And I would, this was a quote out of my August request. And I don't know,
So, yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
we can take 3A. Does anyone wanna move?
No, my only, like I said, my only concern, because I'm still trying to understand this process, is like, I know when we put things on an agenda, word for word, that's what we go off of, and I know we can take things out, but if we're changing it, don't we have to put that on the next agenda to talk about, or?
well,
Because we
Okay,
already
we-
broadcasted, right? I mean,
Yes, we've
direct
already,
messages to everybody. So that's why I'm just asking.
yeah, so
Okay,
if
well-
we wanna change it, we can put it on next month's agenda to.
Or just.
have a vote for a vote. No, well, it doesn't specify, 3A doesn't specify if it's as a group or it just says the parent directors. My position is that, and I think as a fairness thing, that it should be broken out to put each parent director as a separate vote
Okay, I mean, I guess
in November.
we can have that thought, but that's not what we have on the agenda here now.
It doesn't specify whether that's a group or not.
Okay, I guess that's not my read, but, so, but we can vote on what is written here and if we want to, if anyone wants to move.
Well, it says
to
the
vote
vote.
that.
Do you
Two
still
full
have to
votes, so you
make them.
Yeah.
exactly what you requested?
This is pretty much word for word of what I said.
Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah,
There's some
Okay.
slight,
In August.
there's some slight shifts, but it's.
Is there?
Not
Original request books.
I think I might have it. Let's see.
It's
Because if
not
we
big,
have
Mark.
that,
It's
then
not big.
But it doesn't change.
So we're just talking about the difference between voting on all three at one time and voting as separate.
To be 100% honest, I'm not sure what.
Is that the question?
it's two. It's
Yeah.
voting for
I
both
thought
at one
when-
time or separating. We want to separate them because they're two different subjects,
Mhm.
two different requests.
Well, yeah, that's what I'm saying. So we're separating out 3A is one motion,
Yes.
and then 3B is another motion.
Yes.
Right, but you're also asking if there in fact that it can be,
If the vote next month would be, if we.
and then we have to resubmit it and then vote on it in December?
Why would that be?
So I was asking Mark to look up exactly.
Yeah. It's pretty close to what I said for 3A.
Okay,
But in 3A, I didn't specify whether it was to be done as a group or individually.
okay,
I mean, part of that is because it's also my belief that, and going for fairness here, that the director who's being voted on can't vote because it's a conflict. So splitting it out, then the other two parent directors can vote on the other person.
okay, and that is not, the advice I've gotten on this subject, but so that, I mean, I guess that would be another reason then that probably we don't want to specify that in 3A and right now.
It should be a C on there as well too, I mean, however you do.
I don't think how we do the vote really matters right now, it's just that there will be a vote.
Yeah, I thought that was a point, that.
Yeah, that's
why
what
you
happened.
wanted-
Yeah, that's how I'm interpreting it, and then we
Okay.
can decide if we wanna do it all in three,
Okay.
or we can separate it out just like we do every meeting, right?
Well, Miriam's in control of the agenda for the November meeting, so it would be whatever she decides to put on there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then it's just kicking the can down the street, I'm sorry, but.
Well, then on the agenda, we would just have it as A, board member 1, B, board member 2, C, board member 3, and then we can decide to vote them all at once, or decide to pull them out to, right, when we just do
Well, I
that.
thought
every-
that was the
Or
the
if
point
it's
right now.
conceptually,
I thought that
like
was the
the-
point, to pull all three out.
It
Yeah,
wasn't my
so-
proposal, so I don't know. It wasn't my proposal.
I mean, it
so-
seems like. Yeah.
Well, I just think, I mean, it's up to Miriam and Devin can recommend. So, we don't want to specify today, then we'll just see how the agenda comes out for next month.
Well, I would say my understanding, although I don't know, would be that, the directors wouldn't get to vote, and so I understand, it feels like Mark is trying to make this in like a reasonable vote, so it's not, certain people are being pulled out from the mass vote.
Right.
But again, that's, Miriam and I can have a conversation, we can work through that.
Yeah.
Or you guys can determine that, or whatever feels good.
I was saying it wasn't my
Yeah.
proposal, so I'm just
Okay.
saying like. What the agenda says, and I understand what you're saying, but what the agenda says is. It's outlined saying we're doing one thing and then we're trying to now we're trying to spread it out to like two separate things, right, for different positions, whatever, so. And what I know Mr. Ham, he said if it's not on the agenda, we can't talk. about
Oh,
it.
yeah,
You
no,
know what I mean, so I
he's-
remember
he's
him,
right.
I hear his
He's right.
voice in the background.
Yeah, all right. Then I move to approve 3A.
Okay, and
Second.
so, okay, so, all.
I would do a roll call,
Well, if we
Unless
need a
it's a-
roll call.
if we need a roll call, okay.
So, all in favor of, action item 3A?
Aye.
All opposed to action item 3A? Any abstentions on action item 3A? Okay, so we have 3 A's, 1 N, and 2 abstentions. Okay, and now action item 3B. Do we have a motion?
I move to approve.
Okay, and I second that. So all in favor of action item 3B? Okay, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 A's. Any opposed to action item 3B? No opposed. And then any abstentions to action item 3B? Okay, so both of those action items have passed and, so we will add these to the next agenda. So that's great.
Yeah. Yeah, my intention is to run for elections. And I would encourage, parent directors, if those seats are vacated, to run also, so the parents can say who should be on the board.
And I think everyone, we have had elections, so.
Not for, we're going on,
Well, no,
we're coming up on 3
exactly,
years.
exactly. And
Yeah.
I mean,
missed
I
two.
think this year we really need to focus on actually having that election, which is something I think that I have thought over the past few years, so. I'm glad that we're finally doing it.
Sounds good.
Okay, all right, great. So I think we are done and we're gonna move into closing.
Yeah, you're gonna.
Everybody on video?
Okay, we have ended the closed session. There is nothing to report. Thank you.
There you go.
Say it again.
The whole thing?
No, just the time.
Meeting is adjourned. It's 8:52 p.m.